I love opening sealed product because you get that nice fresh card smell. Ugh! Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day, and can't do this without a clap. In today's video, there we go, I wanted to sit back, relax with you kids, and talk about Heavy Metal Magazine. That's right, it's back. The classic sci-fi fantasy comic magazine that was pretty big, all things considered. This is the 2025 first issue revival that was, let's put that down, kickstarted, funded on Kickstarter. Pretty impressive, all things considered. And yeah, the magazine's back. It first started, for those of you who don't know, Heavy Metal started back in 1977, I want to say. I'm probably wrong. And if I recall correctly, Heavy Metal started as an American translation of a French magazine, which I will have to double check later because I think it would have been Italian, and I really have to get I have a notepad. Why do I not write notes for these videos? I really should do that more often. Anyway, what Heavy Metal Magazine means it's different for different people, because it's, for some, a nice little trendy, just article fun magazine with a bit of alt culture in it. For some, it's an anthology comic strip, and for others, it's just the magazine that inspired a really cool movie from the 80s. For me, it's more of the latter. I was never a huge fan of Heavy Metal, the magazine. I did enjoy the film quite a bit. I really enjoy classic sci-fi and fantasy films, especially if they're animated, especially if they're a bit darker and grungier, so to say. And having heard about the revival of the magazine, I actually did not know about the Kickstarter or the revival until relatively recently. I walked into my local comic store to strike up a conversation with one of the workers there, as I do most weeks. A special shout out to Kevin, because he pointed it out on the wall and said, "Hey, this is back," and I was like, "Hot diggity dog." So here we are. This is not going to be an in-depth video because, again, like I said prior, I was not a huge fan of the magazine. I was aware of it. Never read all too much of it, but I did grab this. I gotta say, I really like the Hildebrand art on the cover, especially with the, I don't know if you guys can see it all too well, there's an astronaut reading Heavy Metal Magazine on the cover. I bet that's great. There's a lot of, I assume, for die-hard fans, like I recognize the lady from the movie and all that jazz. And I imagine for other die-hard fans of the classic iteration of this magazine, there's a lot on this cover that's probably harkening back to that older generation. I'm missing out on it, although I have to say that I just think it's really well done. This is just really nice art. So that's all I'm going to say about that before I just repeat myself for 30 or so minutes. I did go ahead and read through it, and I will say that I enjoyed most of it. Not all of it, but I enjoyed most of the segments in it. It is an anthology comic for all intents and purposes, with some articles interlaced about interviews and discussions and all that jazz, looks at the past and aspirations for the future. And I think overall it's a good thing, because I've said before on this channel, and that was a while ago now, maybe a year ago, I've mentioned before that I miss magazines. When I was younger, I didn't appreciate magazines all too much. There was Nintendo Power that I read. There was Hojo magazine that I read. There's National Geographic, read a lot of that. But as I grew older and as magazines disappeared from store shelves, I found myself missing them more and more. I don't know if I'm going to be... This is expensive, $15 an issue. I don't know if I'm going to be sticking with this for its entire revival run, but I do wish it the best. I'm at least going to grab a few more issues, because a lot of the anthology comics in issue 1 have to be continued. pages. So I'm, of course, curious to see where those go. I'm glad to see more magazines, especially more geek, counterculture, nerdy magazines, sci-fi fantasy magazines. I'm excited to see more of that. For one reason and one reason only. I think having physical print media is good. Very good. Very, very good. As much as I enjoy sitting down and having conversations with you kids once or twice or 3 or 4 times a week about whatever random topic interests me that day, I'm not going to deny that it's YouTube videos, video games, digital-only video games, mobile games, etc. Those are the kind of things you can lose access to. But physical print media, magazines, comic books, you know, unless like a fire or something happens, you're going to have access to those. So it's just really nice, really heartwarming almost, to have just a nice little return of some magazines, even if it's only in a small form. Because when I do go to the stores, you know, there is a whole aisle at the local Walmart that used to be dedicated to magazines, and now just sells as seen on TV toys and discount products that nobody wants. And I gotta say, I wish it still sold Nintendo Power magazines. I liked reading Nintendo Power. I really liked reading National Geographic. And I know that National Geographic is still around, but I've read some of the more recent issues, and they're just not that great. And before any of you recommend Time magazine to me, no, I will not be reading any more Time magazine. So just putting that out there. I'd like some more geek culture or nerd culture magazines, is what I'm trying to say. So I suppose I am rambling though, and I wanted to keep this video short. So all I wanted to say is that Heavy Metal magazine is back. I did greatly enjoy the first issue, and I very much look forward to seeing what comes in the future, and I hope it's going to be around for a long time. It did manage to, like, what, 40 years for its first run? Because the first version of the magazine only went out of print in, like, I want to say 2023. Might have been 2022. But I don't recall. But yeah, I'm excited that it's back. I'm hoping that it sticks around for a long time. And that's really all I'm going to say. Hope you kids enjoyed this video. If you did, do all the things that please the algorithm. And I will see you in the next one. Ciao.